Now we shall look into common types of critical reasoning questions. The first type is identifying the conclusion. Now read the passage. Companies selling expensive consumer durables like televisions or refrigerators increase their advertising expenditure during the festival season. They usually declare several promotional schemes or offer heavy discounts to attract buyers who traditionally shop for such expensive items on auspicious festival days. Pause the video and try to conclude. What can you conclude from this passage? Right? Pick up an option. So, what can you conclude by the passage? So, if you read the passage, if you look into this passage describes the efforts taken by the consumer durable companies to attract buyers during the festival season. And option 1, consider this: people buy refrigerators and televisions only on auspicious days in the festival season. So this cannot be concluded because the passage just mentions that some buyers traditionally shop on auspicious days, and this cannot be generalized to make it applicable to all the people, to all the buyers. So we can eliminate this option and consider option number 2. Advertising expenditure is the non festival season is extremely low. This too cannot be concluded because there is no way of assessing the degree of spending during the non festival period on the basis of the given information that some companies increase their advertising spends during the festival season. So this can also be eliminated easily. And people expect consumer durable companies to offer heavy discounts during the festival season. This may be true. Let's keep this aside. And option number 4, consumer durable companies consider the festival season to be very important for increasing sales. Okay, so this can also be true. What about the fifth one? Advertising rates during the festival season are much higher as compared to other times of the year. This cannot be concluded because this is completely irrelevant. Nowhere is mentioned that advertising rates during the festival seasons are higher. Nowhere in the passage is mentioned. So we can directly eliminate this. So we have to choose either option 3 or 4. So if we consider option 3, this may be true, but it cannot be concluded as there is no information regarding the view of people in general in relation to the strategy of the companies to offer discounts. Whereas if we move on to option number 4, this is the reasonable conclusion because if the companies are making the special efforts mentioned in the passage, then it can be concluded that they consider the festival season very important. Hence, we can eliminate option number 3. We are left with option number 4. This is the conclusion. So the second type is identifying the assumption. Engineering students who will complete their graduation this year will find it difficult to get used to the advanced technology being used in the corporate world. The university which designs the engineering course should concentrate on upgrading the infrastructure and improving the quality of teaching to meet industrial standards. Just pause the video and try to find out the assumption. Okay. Which of the following assumptions does the argument make? There are more engineering students than job openings this year. See, an assumption is something that has been taken for granted while making the argument. And as we discussed, in the above argument, the premise is that engineering students this year will find adjusting to the corporate world difficult. So what must we do? On this basis, on this premise, we have to make the assumption. So if we consider the first option, this is completely irrelevant. Nowhere it's mentioned that the engineering students are more than the job openings. Nowhere it is mentioned. So we can eliminate this option. Let's go to the second option. The engineering students graduating this year are not very determined or intelligent. This option may be true. However, if the author had made this assumption, then the suggested course of action wouldn't have been related to the university upgrading infrastructure, right? So option 2 can also be eliminated. Let's move on to option 3. The infrastructure and teaching faculty currently available for engineering students is not up to corporate technological standards. So this can be the assumption, but let's keep this aside. Fourth one is engineering students will probably pursue management education instead of taking up jobs. So this is completely irrelevant. Nowhere it's mentioned about the management education in the passage, right? So management, nowhere it's mentioned, so it's completely irrelevant. So strike this off. And the fifth one is the university is not interested in the welfare of the students. This cannot be the assumption because this doesn't support the argument, right? What is the argument? So the argument, the argument states that the university should do on the basis of the current problem, right? So we can eliminate this, and the only option which is left is option 3. So this should be the answer. Let's check it one more time. The infrastructure and teaching faculty currently available for the engineering students is not up to corporate technological standards. Yes. So due to this reason, if you assume this, so due to this, the engineering students who will complete their graduation this year will find it difficult to get used to the advanced technology, right? So the third type is strengthening argument. See, what is meant by strengthening argument? Anything, any statement which most strongly supports the argument, right? So anything which supports the argument in whatever the passage given, that is known as a strengthening argument. Let's take this example. IT companies are finding it difficult to retain employees with average attrition rates in the industry being as high as 50% per year. They should immediately double the salaries of all their employees to increase employee retention. So pause the video and try to find out the argument that best strengthens. Okay, so which of the following, if true, most strengthens the argument? Profits of IT companies have increased and they can afford the pay hike. Well, this is somewhat appropriate, but it doesn't strengthen the argument much. See, just because the IT companies can afford a pay hike is not a valid reason to implement it, since it doesn't say whether the pay hike will actually help or not. So option 1 can be eliminated. And option 2, a survey shows that most employees in the IT industry can change jobs because of low salaries. This can be the answer, but let's see whether there is a better one or not, better than this option or not. So employees care more about the work environment than salaries. So this is totally irrelevant. And option number 4, salaries in the field of medicine are much higher than in IT. This is also irrelevant because the field of medicine, this is nowhere mentioned here, right? Higher work pressure makes it necessary for most employees in IT to work overtime. This doesn't strengthen the argument. This doesn't strengthen the argument, and this is completely irrelevant. See, how can we eliminate options by stating irrelevant? See, if there is any word that is out of the context, like if there is any irrelevant word, then you can directly eliminate that option. And instead of looking for the right option, just eliminate the wrong ones. Then you will end up with one option or two options, and you can choose between these two, because in every wrong option there is some correct part, right? So but in a right option there won't be any wrong part or erroneous part. So instead of looking for the right option, just eliminate the wrong options and you will end up with the right one. Okay, so here option 2 is the correct answer, because a survey shows that most employees in the IT industry change jobs because of low salaries. So because of this reason, the IT companies are finding it difficult to retain employees, right? So the next type is weakening argument. So what does a weakening argument mean? So any statement that weakens the argument in the given passage is known as a weakening argument. Let's take this example. To qualify for the Olympics, any team needs to be extremely fit. That is the reason why the Indian hockey team failed to qualify for the Olympics at Beijing. So which of the following, if true, most weakens the argument? Pause the video and try to answer this. So in this argument, the premise is that any team needs to be extremely fit to qualify for the Olympics, right? So this is the premise. And here the author has made an assumption that the Indian team was not fit, and the author also concluded that this is the reason for the Indian hockey team not qualifying for the Olympics. If we consider the first statement, the coach of the Indian hockey team was not skilled enough to train the team. So if we look into this option, this option offers alternative reason why Indian team didn't qualify, and this doesn't weaken the argument made by the author. So we can eliminate option 1. Option number 2 is the Indian hockey team actually didn't have the ambition to win an Olympic medal. So this is also an alternative reason why the Indian team didn't qualify. If we consider option number 3, which is the Indian hockey team was certified to be completely fit by an independent medical consultant and a qualified physiotherapist. So this option most probably is the answer, because this option directly attacks the assumption made by the author, right? So if this option is true, then the Indian team not being fit cannot be the reason why it didn't qualify. Thus, by negating the assumption, this option definitely weakens the argument. And the fourth one is the administrative body responsible for the hockey is run in a completely unprofessional manner. So this is also a reason why Indian team was not qualified. So this cannot be the answer. So the answer, the option that weakens the argument is option number 3. So the next type is parallel reasoning. So what's meant by parallel reasoning? It is simply means whatever the rule applies in the given passage, that must apply in the option as well. See, for instance, most Indians are not interested in learning Japanese, while some are interested in learning German. Hence, Indians have more interest in the West rather than the East. So, if we consider this, the first word is most. Most Indians are not interested in learning Japanese, while some are interested, right? The second one is some. Please remember these two. Some are interested in learning German. Hence, Indians have more interest in the West rather than the East. Okay. So you can directly eliminate the options which do not start with most. So as the passage starts with most, the option that is suitable for this passage must also start with most. So we can directly eliminate option number 1 as it starts with some. It doesn't start with most. So option 2 can also be eliminated. Option 3 cannot be eliminated. Option 4 also can't be eliminated. Option 5 can be eliminated because it starts with all. Okay. So between option 3 and 4, we have to select only one. Here we have one more condition, some. So after most, here if we observe, we have some here. Here also we have some. So we both the conditions got satisfied. But here most Indians, right? Most Indians are not interested in learning Japanese. Hence, Indians have more interest in the West. So here we have Indians, here also we have Indians. Here we have hockey players, but here we have Indians, right? So here if it is here we have hockey players, but in fourth option we have tribals, and here also we have tribals. So we can directly say that option 4 is the correct answer, because it is completely analogous to the passage. So we can directly use this trick to any passage, as we if we consider parallel reasoning. See, most hockey players are interested in Olympics, while some of those are interested in Asian Games. Hence, Indians have more interest in Olympics. See, hockey players can be from any country. It can be from India. It can be from any other country. So we cannot state that Indians have more interest in Olympics, right? Whereas if we consider fourth option, most tribals are not interested in classroom studies. Here Indians are not interested in learning Japanese, absolutely parallel, while some are interested in learning from their elders. Here, while some are interested in learning German. Okay. Hence, tribals have more interest in education from elders. Here, hence Indians have more interest in the West, right? So everything is in a parallel manner. So this is known as parallel reasoning. It's also known as analogous, right? Analogous reasoning. So these are the various types of questions that can be asked in critical reasoning. In the upcoming videos, we will learn about the fact, inference, judgments, the probably true, definitely true or false, strong arguments, weak arguments. So all the very best, and thank you very much.